Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Hole. My name is Cole, and today we're going to go to 2008 and talk about a pretty unique sounding band, which is The Kills. And this is their, in my opinion, best album, Midnight Boom. It's kind of a garage rock slash electronic infused rock thing going on. They have two vocalists, both of which sound very cool, very sexy on this album. I dig it. But anyway, I'm very excited to talk about it. So let's dive in with track number 1, which is called U.R.A. Fever.
Walk you to the counter.
What you got to offer?
Pick you out a soda.
Look at you forever.
Walk you to the water.
Rise like a casino.
Ain't born typical. Find a piece of silver.
Pretty as a diagram.
Go down to the Rio.
Put it in my left hand.
Put it in a fruit machine.
Everyone's a winner.
Laughing like a seagull. You are fever. You are fever. You ain't born typical. You are fever. You are fever. You ain't born typical.
Yeah, this is a very sexy, very rock and roll kind of song, right? Because you've got this couple, and it sounds like one of the people in this relationship is living on the edge, living very dangerously. They like to gamble. They like to do all of these fringe things that not a lot of people do, right? He says, you ain't born typical. But I like how he puts it, says, you are a fever. And I like that because I imagine that, the guy is totally in love with this girl, and the girl is kind of leading him down this dark path of danger that on one hand is really exciting and very sexy and very cool, but on the other hand he's kind of aware of the fact that he probably shouldn't be with somebody like this, right? It's probably not the best life path for him, even though it's very exciting, right? It's very exciting to be someone who's so free and so mischievous and stuff like that, right? Because most of us are kind of normal and boring. So that's how I think of this song. It's somebody being intoxicated by a partner who's kind of bad news. So I dig it. It's a cool way to start the album. And I like how they infuse electronic elements with the garage rock style. But anyway, so that's You Are a Fever. Let's move on and talk about track 2, which is called Cheap and Cheerful.
I'm bored of cheap and cheerful. I want expensive sadness. Hospital bills payroll. Open doors to madness. I want you to be crazy 'cause you're boring, baby, when you're straight. I want you to be crazy 'cause you're stupid, baby, when you're sane. I'm sick of social graces.
So I kind of imagine this song is about the woman from track 1, right? The woman who's really crazy and wild and gambling and living on the edge. And she's kind of bored of this guy, right? He's just totally normal, doesn't really do anything too crazy, right? I don't know why they're together in the first place, but they are. And so, she's trying to show this guy what life is all about, so to speak. She's trying to show him a good time and break him out of his shell, you could say. But he's not really doing it. He's kind of boring. He's kind of cheap and cheerful. But she wants somebody who wants to live life fast and probably will die young, So, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. To each his own, as they say. So it's an interesting song sonically as well. It's kind of different. I appreciate it. But anyway, that's Cheap and Cheerful. Let's move on. Let's talk about track 3, which is called Tape Song.
You got to. You got to. You got to. You got to.
Again, just another really cool, sexy rock and roll type vibe. I mean, I love it. I imagine it's the same girl, and she's totally getting sick of this guy who we've established is really boring, kind of normal, doesn't really do anything too crazy, right? I mean, from his perspective, he's probably never done anything like this in his entire life. He probably sees her as this really cool, like tattooed up girl, this rock and roll girl. And he's probably like, oh my gosh, how did I ever land her? Like, how did I ever get her to like me in the first place? So it sounds like, the girl is really bored of this guy, and he's just desperately trying to keep the relationship going. He's putting like duct tape on the wounds of this relationship, right? She's like, tape ain't gonna fix it, honey. It ain't gonna stick. So she's like, I know what you're trying to do, but I'm getting bored of you. You are not worth my time anymore, basically. She needs somebody who's gonna, live fast and die young and probably overdose on drugs or something. So God bless, to each his own. So this poor guy. But anyway, he needs someone, he needs to be with someone who's a little bit more boring, just like him. But anyway, so that's Tape Song. It's very interesting. But let's skip to track number 5, which is one of my favorites. It's called Last Day of Magic.
Well, two parties ending. I'll be the man with the broom, if you'll be the glass of the room. There's only so much you can hide before I corner you. Last day of magic. Where are you? My little tornado, my little hurricane. Last day of magic, coming through the eye of the storm, and I hold on to my little tornado, my little hurricane.
Yeah, The Last Day of Magic. I love the name of this song and how it describes, the last day they're together. Because obviously, I imagine this album mostly is about this couple, right? I imagine there's continuity. So it's the last day of magic, which is, in other words, the last day that they're officially together, right? So I just love that phrase. It's so perfect. Because love is really a magical thing for the most part. I mean, to have somebody who enjoys your company so much that they're willing to spend the rest of their life with you is a really wild concept if you think about it. I mean, sometimes late at night I think about that and it just kind of like blows my mind a little bit. Like, oh my gosh, somebody is willing to spend 60 years of their life with me willingly. Anyway, so yeah, it's a really cool song. Very memorable song. Probably my favorite song on the album. It's got a lot of energy to it. I really like it. But anyway, let's move on to another favorite of mine, track 5, which is called Hook and Line.
Try your best to make it matter. Tattoo it in the clouds above you. Nail it down with jealous bones till it goes like a feather up on its own. With your hook and line up to blow away. With your hook and line up to blow away. With your hook and line up to blow away. With your hook and line up to blow away.
So yeah, this kind of turned into an unexpected twist, right? Because we've established that this guy is like really boring and normal and doesn't do anything too crazy. But it sounds like he's just really into this girl. She's probably really sexy, really cool. I mean, in my own life, I'm personally a fan of kind of punk rock emo girls, even though I don't even like emo music. And I don't have any tattoos and I don't play music. So it's the type of woman that really attracts me, but that I know that I'll almost never end up with realistically. So I mention that because I imagine this guy sees this girl in like a similar kind of way where like he's put her on this pedestal in the sense of like not only is she's really cool and punk rock and rebellious and mischievous and all these things that he's really into. But also she liked him for a while, right? So he's gotten a taste of it. And now that he's gotten a taste of it, he doesn't want to let her go. But, you know, as she puts it, with your hook and line, I still blow away. You know, so she's rebellious enough and, you know, how would you put it? She's incapable of being tied down. Like, she knows the deal. She knows that this guy is super crazy for her in a very creepy way, but she's capable of evading this situation. You know, she's not going to just lie down and take it. So he's turned into a creep. He's turned into kind of a bad guy, which is kind of funny if you think about it, considering that earlier he's really boring and normal, but now he's kind of turned into this opposite type of person from what he was before, because she won't stay with him anymore. So it's kind of an interesting turn of events, in my opinion. But anyway, that's hook and line. Let's move along to, I believe it's Black Balloon. Let me just make sure. Yep, Black Balloon. Let's check it out.
I stood in 1,000 street scenes, just around the corner from you, on the edge of a dream that you have. Has anybody ever told you it's not coming true? Farewell, my black balloon. Farewell, my black balloon. Let the weather have its way with you. Farewell, my black balloon. Let the weather have its way with you. Farewell, my...
Yeah, this song really interests me lyrically because let's talk about it for a moment. So she refers to herself as being on the edge of a dream that he has, you know, her ex-boyfriend who's clingy and all that stuff we talked about. You know, she says, I've stood in 1,000 street scenes just around the corner from you. So what that means to me is that, as I've mentioned, this girl is this guy's dream girl, right? You know, as I mentioned in my own life, my dream girl is like a punk rock, tattooed, pixie cut girl. And those kind of girls never go for me because I'm not even close to being like them at all. So it's never worked out. But it is something, you know, that is kind of like my pedestal-ish type of girl. So I mention that because it sounds like this girl was his pedestal. She was his dream girl. But realistically, they're not supposed to be together. They're just not compatible. But it sounds like on this record, they got together, she gave him a shot, even though they're not really supposed to work out. And of course, they didn't work out. He turned into a creep, right? She got bored of him, she wanted to leave him, but he became really clingy and jealous and turned into a creep. And they got into this really weird, awkward situation where she wanted to leave him, but he wouldn't let her. So anyway, you know, she refers to him as a black balloon, which is kind of like, doesn't sound like a great compliment. But anyway, so yeah, it's basically about trying something out that you know deep down is not supposed to work out. And it makes sense from her perspective if you consider the fact that she's kind of a gambler, she lives on the edge, she likes to do things that are a little bit dangerous. So it's within her character to try someone out who she probably sees as, you know, she saw him as this guy who she shouldn't end up being with, but she's kind of a gambler, so she's like, I'll give him a shot, even though he's not really my type. I'll give him a chance, you know, because that's just who I am, you know. So yeah, clearly it didn't work out. But anyway, it's a very interesting song. I like it. But let's move on. Let's skip to track 9 next, which is called Sour Cherry.
Sour wanna get off the ride. Shout when you wanna get off the ride. Shout when you wanna get off the ride. Cause you cross my mind, cross my mind. Oh, make my blood thump 789. Oh, make my heart beat double time. Now I'm the only sour cherry on the fruit stand. Right, am I the only sour cherry on the fruit stand? Shout when you wanna get off the ride. Shout when you wanna get off the ride. Cause it crossed my mind, crossed my mind. I'm a penny and a dime in mine. Oh, we could be movers. Oh, we could be shakers. Oh, if we could just shake something out of the blue and get off the ride. But I'm the only sour cherry on the fruit stand. Am I the only sour cherry on the fruit stand? Am I the only sour cherry on the fruit stand?
Yeah, so finally we've got a new character here, a new woman, right? Somebody who's the complete opposite of the last woman. You know, it sounds like she has no self-confidence. She considers herself to be a sour cherry in the fruit stand, a penny in the diamond mine. And that's a reference to the guy she's dating. It sounds like they're not officially together. You know, they're just kind of like booty calls, I guess. And so this guy is seeing a bunch of other women. And as far as she's concerned, you know, she's happy that somebody likes her on some levels. Like, she has such low self-confidence that she's willing to deal with seeing a guy who's openly seeing other women and sleeping with other women, right? So that's how low her self-confidence is she knows that this guy is constantly sleeping around and is not going to stay with her. But, you know, she's always wondering to herself, you know, shout when you want to get off the ride, is how she puts it. So basically, she's just taking what she can get, right? She's hoping and praying deep down that he commits to her, but he knows she's not good enough for him. You know, he's too cool probably. She's probably thinking to herself that she's lucky to have him in her life at all. So this poor woman, she needs to find some self-confidence. But anyway, that's Sour Cherry. It's a cool song. But the last track I want to talk about with you guys is from track 11. It's called What New York Used to Be.
Scratch it, say it, make it to the bottom, let it climb and drop and I pull off the top and stop. I don't wanna eat it, need it, know it, force it, feed it, leave it, be it, just keep it in its box. What easy used to be what love used to be, what drugs used to be, what TV used to be, what music used to be, what luck used to be, what art used to be, what you used to be.
Yeah, my goodness, this song hit home for me on a personal level because I can identify with this guy's situation. It sounds like he's just totally done with life. He's really bored. He's really jaded. The thrill of living is gone for him. You know, it sounds like he needs to start doing things that he doesn't want to do just to inject some adventure into his life, some uncertainty. You know, because like in my own life, there are definitely many, many things that I just instinctually don't want to do. But maybe if I actually force myself to do them, I would like them. You know, I don't know. For instance, I don't dance. I don't like dancing. theoretically, I don't really feel like going to dancing classes or whatever. But for all I know, maybe I would fall in love with it if I tried it. So it sounds like this guy or this girl has done everything that they want to do in their life, more or less, and they've hit this roadblock where basically the only things left for them to try or to do are the things that they don't think they'd like, if that makes any sense. So nothing is what it used to be. You know, she said, or they say, what art used to be, what music used to be, what drugs used to be, everything kind of, you know, makes them go like, whatever. Nothing excites them. So they need to branch out. So I can identify with that. But anyway, that's the last clip I wanted to talk about with you guys. As I mentioned, it's a very interesting album. It's a neat little blend of garage rock and indie rock and electronic elements. You know, I like that they have the two different singers, you know, and they sound very sexy, very rock and roll. I can dig it. It's a cool album. I hope you thought it was interesting. You know, I hope you enjoyed it. But feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll check them out. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It'd really help me out. But yeah, that's Midnight Boom by The Kills. Check them out and have a good one.